So you know that little voice in the back of your head that's always telling you when you're working on a project, don't overcomplicate it. You don't need to make it that complicated. Luckily for you and for me, I'm hard of hearing. Hello everybody, welcome back to Waffles RC. Today we are going to be a bit ambitious on what we're going to try and get this thing to do. The goal for today is to try and get this bed to tilt up and down like that because, well, why not? And it would just kind of set this thing off. So we're going to do that and try and do an idea for adjustable suspension. We'll see how that one plays out. For now, let's try and get started with trying to get the bed to tilt. You're sitting on top of the truck, so now you know what it's gonna be like for the other little cars. They make RC construction equipment that has functional hydraulics. I cannot afford those because I looked at them. They're quite expensive. You have to have a pump, block to be able to actuate everything, and then you need the hydraulic cylinders and oil. That's too expensive. But these were not. These are basically just little servos with this piece on it. It has a piece, screws out of it to actuate it. So that's basically all it does. And I got 3 of these for $42. Will they work? Gonna find out as soon as we put them on, and then we'll test it with one of the other trucks because they'll have the electronics. These do not. So if this doesn't work, then you'll know. So my goal is to mount these kind of like this, just right back in here. I'm gonna have to notch out the bottom of the battery box so that they don't sit down too low, but they need to be able to pivot. Then I'm going to make a headache rack that mounts on the bed, follows the line of the battery box. The top of that right there of the hydraulic, aka just the actuator, will mount up at the top and be able to tilt just like that as the bed goes up. So let's make the headache rack for this thing and then see where it takes us. Maybe a little hard to see, but there's the headache rack. So these are going to go on here just like that. Make some tabs, so that way you can lift it and be able to tilt as the bed goes as well. Okay, there's those, so they can pivot quite nicely. Now how long is this going to last? I have no idea, but figure with 2 of them should be fine. If not, more of a affordable fix than any of the other ones. So far this is looking pretty good. This one is a bit shorter than that one, that's why you see more of it, but I just want it to tilt. Let's get them plugged in. We'll use one of the other ones and see if they actually move, because it's going to be awesome if it does. Okay, you guys are coming with me. Plugged it in, got it in the receiver, plug it in, see what happens. First, I should make sure that I have a controller that operates this. Okay, there's that. Auxiliary assign. Auxiliary work. On F. Please hold. Okay, so many things have happened since we last saw each other. I had to revise my theory. Took out the headache rack, mounted them down like that onto it. Had to use the white Toyota, not the black Toyota, because I messed it up. Oh, it's dark out now. There's that too. But what we have come across is this right here. I mean, come on. Got them down there. Yes, it's just zip tied on the back right now, but that's just, I needed to make sure that these would actually still push it up. And it can handle the weight of one of the RCs. So we are on the right track. So the reason why I got rid of the headache rack was because when it went to lift it lifted it up just fine. But because of where they were mounted and how short of a throw these things have, even though it's like 4 inches, it only lowered the back of the bed down by like maybe an inch or so, even though it was going up about 4 inches. So I did it like this, which is more like what, you know, real hydraulic trucks use. So that's why I got rid of the headache rack. So we're going to come back out to this tomorrow morning and keep going and finalize everything, make sure it all works, put a proper hinge on it, not zip ties. And so we'll see you in just like... Good morning. Join me the next day. Had to do some adulting, also known as mowing the lawn. But who said I had to be an adult while adulting? Okay, back to serious work. We'll get back on the tow truck. Just had to have a little fun. But last night, after I turned the cameras off, and by cameras I mean camera, but after I turned it off, started playing around with the suspension. These are the shocks that I'm going to run. They might be too tall, so I may have to move these front ones down once I get those on there, get the ride height correct. And when I bought these things, came in a pack of 3, so I have this one. So I'm thinking about trying to do something along this line where it goes like this. Now this is all experimental. I have no idea if it's going to work. Well, I'm going to admit failure. Can't think of a good way to get this suspension to be adjustable using this thing. So we're just going to hard mount them and keep moving on. We'll get the bed all cut up where it needs to be and then start moving on to other stuff. It's okay if you have an idea that doesn't play out. I can always come back, cut everything up once I if I can come up with a better idea or something hits me along the line, I just want to keep forward progress with this project. That's why I'm just going to hard mount them, but I can always come back, cut it off, try something new. I'm gonna keep this because I bought it, so I'm gonna use it for something. I don't know. I made some quote-unquote shock towers. I'm gonna fancy them up, make them look a little bit better, but I'm just gonna keep moving along. There's what I will be referring to as shock towers. I'm gonna add a bar over them just to make them look cool. And if they do stick up too high through the bed, which I don't think they will, it'll give the axles of the truck that's going on it something to slide over. Got the little shock towers on there, some little slider bars. So now the fancy bed that I made, obviously that stuff's in the way. Gonna weld those up, cut that bar out, then we'll keep going on with the other ideas that I have. Okay, got the shocks on, got the little sliders, not that they're entirely necessary, but hey, they look good. Got these hooked up, got this hinged, so let me hook up the white Toyota to control these, and I'll show you what the hinges are. Here's our controller. Now we just hinged back here. I don't know if you can see them very well. They are hinges from Lowe's that cost about $2. Pretty sure that they're for a cabinet or for a tow truck. So now with the controlling Toyota on it, I do need to figure out where the limit of those are because they'll just keep spinning and it'll just shoot these out. But looks like everything will clear just nicely. I have a remote control truck with a hydraulic bed. All right, everybody. Well, that's the end of the weekend for me. Got the bed on. That's going to be loud and annoying. But for right here, obviously these servos for the lift are right there. And as everybody remembers, that was right there. So what my plan is to notch it out on this backside, set it down, and make a little shelf inside there for the battery to sit on. And then you can see them. You know, the body is going to sit right there, that's going to sit there, the bed sits right there, but you can still see it. So I made, just imagine that being up there, little fake gas tank. My bad. So the little fake gas tank is going to sit right there. All I did was took some exhaust tubing that I had laying around, welded some sheet metal onto the ends. It's going to go right there. Before anybody asks, yes, I know that that bolt is there. I'm going to notch out the gas tank. That way I can still get those lift arms out if I need to, which who knows how long they'll last, so I'll probably need to. I thought just to fill up the space, it would look kind of cool to have the tanks. I might put them here, kind of notch it out into that. I don't know, I'm going to play with it as I go along. Now I know on Amazon that they have little fake gas tanks with, you know, little caps and everything on them, and that's expensive. Exhaust tubing I have laying around along with a bunch of scrap sheet metal. But, you know, with a bit of work, you can make your own little fake gas tanks. The whole thing's made of metal. What's this extra gonna be? And yes, welds aren't the greatest, but we use our fancy perfect weld device. That's how we get them to look like this, nice and pretty. Hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know what I'll be doing next, but we're just gonna keep making progress. Probably make the bed plate for where the tires will drive on, and the trailer hitch. I have an idea for that, of how to get a trailer hitch to work on this thing. And maybe some more decorative stuff, and maybe get the steering servo on. I know I have to get the front suspension sitting a little bit better than the rear. As you can see, the rear is sitting a bit higher than the front, and everybody's all collapsed out. So I may have to make these come down a little bit just to make the height even once there's springs in all of these, because right now they have no springs. So from Waffles RC, just want to say thank you. Thank you everybody for subscribing and liking, commenting. It means a lot. I really appreciate everything. I can't believe how many subscribers this series has gotten so far. On the next one, we're just gonna keep trucking away on this thing. Get it? Truck. We'll keep going, and we will see you on the next one. Have a good night, day. See you later.